What in the broken Britain cost of living crisis bullshit is this?
I have work, and then I have a dinner thing, and then I am busy trying to become who I am.
Does anyone else remember when the pound shop used to mean that everything inside it was actually a pound?
I'm sorry, but I've just gone shopping, food shopping. Food shop here used to cost me about 75 quid for two people. It is now costing me over 120 quid.
The British spend less on food than any other wealthy country in the world, and at the same time are one of the unhealthiest nations in Europe. This is not a coincidence.
You've got the money?
Can I see first?
Money now. Go on, pick the one you want.
4 jobs for the last 5 years. I just want a job, and I would love to work something to do with culture, art, history, museums, heritage. That's my passion. I have a lot of experience. I've been working since 2020. I have been a nanny for 5 years. Simultaneously, I've also been working in theatres for 5 years. I co-founded and co-run and co-program London's first neurodivergent short film festival. I have volunteered in archives and also have been doing some paid work in archives. I have written an 80,000 word book, a history book about 3 forgotten female pre-Raphaelite artists who, this is my passion project. I also made a short film about them. I have a background in music and in theatre and acting. I would love to do another master's or even a PhD in history or something to do with my passion project and maybe archives, but I can't afford it because I've already done degrees, and those were at very good universities and a very good drama school, but sadly
Welcome to Blighty Blighted, your daily reminder that, like you saw from the thumbnail, prices in Britain haven't just gone up. They seem to have developed a taste for mountaineering, and they're determined to reach the summit without the rest of us. I don't know about you, but the only thing going up faster than the cost of living is my blood pressure. Mind you, at my age, there's one thing that doesn't go up as quickly as it used to. But unlike supermarket prices, I don't think anybody's complaining about that. Now then, I find myself looking at supermarket shelves these days with the same expression I used to reserve for the electricity meter. Every week it seems there's another surprise waiting for us. A loaf of bread costs a little more than it did last month. The cheese has quietly crept up again, and somehow even a modest basket of groceries now carries the sort of price tag that used to belong to a decent family meal out. The frustrating part isn't just that prices are rising, it's that they never seem to come back down. We keep being told that inflation is easing or that things are stabilizing, yet ordinary people walk into the shops and wonder which version of reality they're supposed to believe. The weekly shop certainly hasn't received the memo. I remember when a trip to the supermarket was something you barely thought about. You'd buy what the family needed, perhaps throw in a few treats, and still have enough left over for a pint at the local afterwards. Today,
nobody talks about this. Most people I know work harder and harder than ever, yet very few feel better off. Food costs more, insurance costs more, broadband costs more. Everything seems to be creeping up little bit at a time. Then one day you wonder where the money went. Surely I can't be the only one.
How much do you think that's gone up?
I'd say about £1.5 million. So I bought a little purpose-built flat in Acton in 1986 when I was 26, and it cost me £42,000.
How much do you think that flat would be worth now?
One bed, £300,000 maybe. It's a huge increase.
And the property you live in now, when did you purchase that and how much for?
So I purchased that in 1998 for £390,000.
And in those 30-ish years, how much do you think that's gone up?
I'd say about £1.5 million.
Tell me why it just cost me £27 for pods, mini rolls, Milky Way crispy rolls, lemon cakes, 2 bags of sweets, a small bottle of shampoo and a small bottle of conditioner. £27. I knew the cost of living was going up, but that is ridiculous. In fact, I used my club card and it took £7 off, so 20 quid. 20 quid for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 things. Ridiculous. Few.
You distracted me because frick me, for about the last hour I've been raging over the cost of living. I went to go to our co-op, our local co-op, to get something for tea. We call it, you might call it dinner, you're wrong uns, but I'd call it tea. That sounds like another piss and biscuit argument. And they said, we got there and there's a woman on the door. Oh, sorry, cash only. I think it's 2026. Obviously, the machine's gone wrong. So that put the kibosh on that idea. So I had to do like an emergency McDonald's because I had like literally 45 minutes till I was streaming. Right, so I was all right, we'll get McDonald's. 1 Happy Meal and 2 adults. Nearly 40 quid delivered. 40 quid. 5 years ago, you could have had a slap-up Indian takeaway for 40 quid. 40 quid for a pissing old McDonald's, and in 2 hours' time, I'm going to be bloody starving again. You couldn't make it up. What world are we living in? 40 quid.
I think the last time that was a thing was about 10 years ago. Everything used to be a quid, no matter what you bought. But now, you look at if most of the things in there are under £2. To be honest, cost of living's fucking horrendous. Gotta laugh or you'll cry, I suppose.
This might be the best one. You know, we're always comparing the cost of living, how it is now and how it was back in the past, to Freddo bars. Can you remember when they used to be 10p a piece? You hear people say, well, with my hourly wage, I used to be able to buy 30 Freddos or whatever it is when it was £3 an hour. Now I can only buy X amount. Look at the price of this Freddo in the UK in the vending machine. You ain't going to believe it. Now, please put a comment before you see the price at the end of the video and let's see who's the closest. It's going to blow your mind.
Guys, I found a real hustle, yeah? Freddo in a vending machine. Never seen that before. Guess how much? And I promise you, double it and double it again, and you might be close.
It used to be 10p.
Right? 402.
402. Yes, £1.20 for a Freddo. The world's gone mad. Did you get it right?
535,000 feckin' pound to redesign the front door of the new Parliament, bloody whatever it's called, in Manchester. Number 10 North, £535,000. They've charged, whatever company have charged to design. They're taking the piss out of us. They literally want uproar, don't they? You could have done that online just for nothing. ChatGPT would have done that for you for nothing. It's only a 10 North. Google it. How? £535,000. And they tell us we're skint. We got no money. Well, we know why we got no money, because the money we've got is only for you lot. It's only for what you want and what you decide it spends on. It's none for us. Cheeky bastards they are. Honestly, don't trust our government.
I moved out of the south because house prices there were unacceptable for what you could get, only to then sit here in an absolute state of panic, trying to find a return ticket from Preston to London, and this is the choices that I get. I get to choose between £327, £217 or £320. How are you meant to improve your livelihood in this country, whereby improving it in one area means that it comes at such a huge cost in another area, be it the train prices or even energy prices? And then you get a very limited chance of finding jobs around the area that is perhaps much more affordable. So how are you meant to win? How are you meant to improve and progress in life?
Monaco is cheaper than the UK. My husband was watching the Formula One and we were talking about Monaco. He's been, I haven't. And I said that I'd love to go. And he's like, the thing is, babe, like everything is just so expensive out there. Like you wouldn't believe it. Like a round of drinks, you literally just wouldn't be able to afford it. Okay, then babe, pull up a price list. He hadn't been for a while, but he pulled up like the current typical prices. And he was like, look at this. A can of Coke will be around €9 and a cappuccino is like €3-4. I was like, babe, yesterday I bought the kids pick a mix each and it was literally £15. Last weekend I got the kids an ice cream each and I had a coffee and he had a Coke and it was like £25. I used to be able to like eat out for £25. Now you can't even get ice creams and a drink. Like seriously, Monaco looks like a Sun 950 holiday compared to going out in the UK right now. What in the cosy lives is that all about? I actually think I'd be better off going to Monaco. Get more for your money over there. When I was talking to my sister, she lives in America, she was telling me her Starbucks order for her and her daughter. And I was like, babe, like that is like £30 over here. And she was like, no, it is not. So we compared the prices of her Starbucks versus our Starbucks. Ours are extortionate. And McDonald's prices are completely different. Her McDonald's are so much cheaper than ours. And that's not just because of the currency. Like if you look at it like for like. I remember when Happy Meals were $1.99. Husband still to this day thinks that a Big Mac meal was £2.89. What in the millennial?
I'll tell you something. The UK is making it very difficult for small businesses, aren't they? This government and that. I'll tell you the story, right? I did the Marathon Expo a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, up in London, Excel. And I seen that it was on again this weekend. So about a month ago, he contacted me. So I got in touch. I said, yeah, I'll do it. About £1,000, right? 2 days. Okay. And I started thinking about it. I thought, hang on, £1,000. Things have been tough at the minute, selling the massage. So then, I didn't sign the contract. And I checked out the hotels. This is like a few days ago. I checked out the hotels. The A-Loft Hotel, which is right next to Excel. The last time I stayed in it was probably 3 years ago. It was 120 quid a night for a room. Do you know how much the hotel wanted? $500. Because my booking.com's still in Asia mode, it said dollars. So that's about 420 quid, £210 a night. So I started to do the maths. 1,500 quid before you've even put a drop of diesel in your van. Fucking behind, ain't you, before you begin. So I've bumped it off. It ain't happening. What is happening is a really funky, weird style event this weekend, which I've never done before. So I'm a little bit excited. I'll bring it all to ya. Let's get going. It's work time. Not quite yet, but it will be Friday. Lovely. And it ain't cost me 1,500 quid. Bonus.
Does anyone else feel like this? So yesterday I went out with some friends and had a lovely time, and then I actually stayed at my parents' house last night because so that my ex could have the children at our house, because a long story, I'm not going to go into that. And I woke up this morning and I just felt really sad because I didn't have my kids running into me like saying morning mummy and giving me a hug, and because they're with me all the time normally, I'm just so used to that. And then I was like, oh, what do I do with myself today? Because like they're with their dad. And even though really I should be like, yay, I'm free, I've got time on my own, I actually don't. I just feel like sad, like I'm missing them and I'm missing out on family time. And I know it's been like, I don't know, 8 months I think since we split, but it's just so hard. Like, how long does it take to get over this? Because I'm just not used to it. And I think because I'm not used to them going to their dads like from like a Saturday to a Sunday, like every other weekend or whatever, I'm used to being with them every night, because even when he does have them Saturday, Sunday, they have to come back to me and stay. Yeah, it's just so hard. Like when will I get over it? Like, or when will I just deal with it? But yeah, I mean, they'll probably come back later and within 5 minutes they're going to drive me crazy, but just so miss them.
One of the hardest things that you have to come to terms with as an adult, and I don't want to say like never, but like it is highly unlikely that I will ever actually be able to buy a house, own a house, right, without taking out a mortgage, because the prices of houses in the UK is genuinely insane. There's an area in the city that I live, I don't want to be rude, but it's known for being quite how do I say this, like rough. It's not a very well-off area, okay? So a lot of people from lower socioeconomic backgrounds live there. And I'm only saying this because you think that the house prices are quite low there, right? And I remember once thinking, I saw these red brick houses, and I was like, let me see how much it would be to buy these, okay? And it's like a 1-bedroom, I think it's like 2-bedroom, right? Tiny little kitchen. It's very, very small. There's no space within it at all. Like maybe for a family of like 2. And I was like, okay, like don't laugh at me. I was like, maybe like 70, 80, maybe 90k, okay? And I live in kind of like a big city, but considering the area and everything, I was like, surely it's not that much. 250,000 Great British pounds. Jaw dropped. Genuinely, I could not believe my eyes. I was like, wow. Like, and imagine the price of houses. Like, a decent house is going for like 500k. Unless it's a place in the UK that I don't know about that has cheap houses, I'm never gonna be able to buy one.
My dad has dementia and has been in care for like over a year now. And this is what it's cost. Bearing in mind it's only been since March 2025. So today I got a bill for £30,000. A couple of months ago I got a lump sum bill for £10,000, which I paid. I also pay nearly £2,000 every month for his care. That brings us to a grand total approximately of about £60,000 in a year. I recently sold his house, which went for £68,000, and every single penny of that will go to his care that he medically needs. He did want to pass the house on to myself, his only daughter, but you don't get to do that if you get dementia, unfortunately. Maybe wondering, is it a fancy home? Did he go in early for like a little bit of a cushier life? So he was found on the side of the road, confused as fuck, and then like end of 2024 went into hospital, and then the social workers were like, he's got to go into care, I'm afraid. My warning that if you do get dementia, you might have to say goodbye to everything you worked hard for all through your life, unfortunately. Either way, my dad was a window cleaner and a carpet cleaner, working class lad, Bagland boy, if you know. Like, never spent a penny, really. I wish he did. He could have used some of it to do something good. On the bright side, he has no fucking clue. He's in his own little world. He's alright. I'm just basically his really stressed accountant now. And I'm like 26. I thought this happened when you were like 40, you know? It's just mad. Like, what other illness do you get diagnosed with where you have to give tens of thousands of pounds? Whatever you can give, really. Whatever you've got, they'll take it. If you're nuts, if you go nuts, they will take it.
Sorry? 120 quid? 50% more than what I used to pay. What is going on with this economy? Like, I actually can't. Like, how do people cope? How are people dealing with the cost of living? Like, I don't have kids, so I'm fine. I don't feel financially strained, and I have created multiple sources of income, thank God. But people who are just relying on their wages, how are you dealing with this cost of living crisis? Especially if you are a parent, like a single parent with kids to fund, like, and then you're just relying on one income. How are you doing it? Literally let me know in the comments, because how? Like, the stress of thinking about how you're gonna pay for all of your bills and pay for food and just to live, and for your kids' uniforms and books and education, like childcare. It's like 1,500 quid in the UK. Sorry, like, what a joke this shit is. Like, if you don't have a second stream of income or some sort of business, I don't know how people are dealing with it. Like, if you want to just stop living week to week or month to month, paycheck to paycheck, do something about it. This is your sign. Get your act together and start that side business. There is so much money online to be made. Like, every single side hustle works. Drop shipping, affiliate marketing, digital marketing. Digital products are the freaking king of this online space. Like, if you're not create a digital product and sell it, it is so unbelievably lucrative. I have a free training in my profile that will give you an idea of how to start and make high ticket sales every single freaking sale. Get on it. My DMs are open.
You know the people that say, you only have one life, so live it. Do everything you want to do. See all the things you want to see. Do you think those people live in the UK or understand how difficult everything here is? Sunday I went out for a meal which I know is a lovely thing to be able to do. However, my meal was mediocre and it was bloody expensive. And when you spend all of your time working, like we all do in the UK, because we are literally working to exist, there is no pleasure in life here unless you're very, very, very wealthy. You are working to exist. And at the moment, it's a bit of a crap existence because, like with me on Sunday, you go out, you have a meal, the bill comes up, it's extortionate. I understand, restaurant prices go up because produce goes up, and they're trying to make money as well, right? I get it. However, it's just so hard here. And I know that some of you are going to be like, oh, get the violins out, poor her. It's not just me, it's all of us. It's all of us that are trapped here. We're all struggling. None of us can afford to do anything. None of us can afford to actually enjoy our lives because we are all on this continuous hamster wheel of getting up, going to work, doing a job that we really dislike, to make a very small amount of money, to not enjoy the time off that we have because we can't afford to do everything or anything because everything's so overpriced here, so expensive. And that's it? Really? We have 2 weeks a year where we get to go on holiday, which again is ridiculously expensive because most of us are governed by the airlines that hike the prices up during the summer holidays, so we can't afford to go away with our children, and yet that's the only time we have. It is really hard. And, the cost of living just continues to soar. And we also have all of the added other problems that go with living in the UK, such as immigration and a government that are completely and utterly useless. And most of us could do a better job with our eyes closed, our hands tied behind our back and our feet bound together in a box, quite frankly. In fact, my dog would do a better job in Parliament right now. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard for us all. And, who are those people that really get to live every day, love it, wake up in the morning and go, shit, yeah, look at this. This is amazing. Yes, we're lucky. Yes, we're alive. I know all that. But being alive is one thing. Loving your life and enjoying every day to the fullest, that's another thing. And how many of us in the UK actually get to do that on a day-to-day basis?
When your puppy pisses on your duvet, goose down duvet that was given to you for your birthday because you've had to move so many times and bought duvets, sold duvets, mattresses, so much. Just basically housing crisis in the UK, It's, anyway, so the duvet was really important to me, the goose down duvet that she pissed on. So I was showering it, I was putting the enzyme cleaner, the dog pee cleaner on it to get the piss off it. Had to leave it overnight soaking because there was absolutely no nothing to put it in that was big enough. And then in the morning I took it to the local laundrette, and this is where I am. Now, I already did this yesterday, and I spent 3 hours drying it in the Speed Queen, which is £1 every 10 minutes. And it says that for goose down, you actually need to dry it for it said 2 hours, but then when I went back, it said 3 to 8. Anyway, I took it home yesterday after 2 hours of drying it. This is really exciting, but I just feel like sharing it because it's ridiculous. And I spent most of my day doing this yesterday, and I had to cancel all my plans because I was so passionate about keeping this duvet. Because I was like, I'm not buying another fucking thing. With the whole moving situation, you just have to buy stuff, sell stuff. It stank of dead bird yesterday after it dried, and it was so pungent. I was like, fuck, why? It was left outside overnight, and I think that that's probably why. Maybe, I don't know. It's really hard to tell what's the problem here. So today I got up really early because I've got stuff to do, and I was like, I'm not letting this defeat me. I'm not. So it's back. And actually this time I've treated myself, and I've put it in a smaller one. So the smaller one is £1 for every 15 minutes. So that's my morning, and it's going to be the vast part of my day today, just saving this duvet. And I guess I feel so passionate about the duvet, I'm really hanging on to it because it was expensive. It was a birthday present. And I think I've had to move, since the pandemic, I think I've moved probably about 6 or 7 times. And it's all been stuff that has not been in my control, and I would have liked to have more of a stable, like, situation. And maybe a little bit OCD about my possessions, but then I have to also learn to let go of them. This new room can't fit a desk in, but you just bought a really expensive, amazing desk for all your music equipment. This bed doesn't have a mattress, so you're now going to have to buy another mattress that you sold before. That's my little rant about, you know, I guess it's first world problems, but it also feels really, really taxing. Love.
Here is the thing I just cannot understand. I've just spent like the last 45 minutes driving around 3 miles to get my child to school, to then get to the train station to get to work. How can we accept 45 minutes traffic for a 3-mile journey? And that's supposed to be okay. This is just a rant, but I really feel like our quality of life in the UK is going down so significantly. And I know it's all relative, and this is completely first world problem stuff. But given that it is relative, don't we think that it is absolutely crazy that our roads are so congested that we spend 45 minutes on a 3-mile round trip because of the road congestion? This is example. The roads are completely backed up, forward and back. And I don't live in central London. I live in Surrey, on the outskirts of London. So this isn't even like inner city traffic. On top of that, my train is cancelled again. This is like the 3rd time in about 7 days that my train has been cancelled, with no reason other than it's cancelled. This is hours of our life that we will never get back. And people talk about home officing and the fact that it's not the way that we can continue, and everyone needs to get themselves into the office and everyone needs to collaborate all the time by being in person. But the reality is none of that collaboration really happens, and what you get is a group of people who are pissed off that they are losing hours and hours and hours of their life every day by sitting in traffic jams, waiting for cancelled trains, or sitting on a train that refuses to move, to be in an office where you are just jam-packed with meetings the entire day, and any of that like spontaneous water cooler conversations, collaboration is just not happening. So remind me why it is again that we have decided that remote working and home officing is not a good idea, and why instead we've decided to add layers more stress on top of most often working parents who are trying desperately to somehow get their children to childcare so that they can haul their ass into an office to stress themselves out running from meeting to meeting all day, a number of which are done virtually, and then to do the same thing on the other side and get home and be completely stressed out and exhausted. And they wonder why women are choosing not to have children and the population numbers are completely plummeting. So yeah, this is my cathartic rant, but I'm really wondering whether this is life or whether this is just life in the UK right now.
Listen, I'm going to show you 5 facts right now. Each one on its own is just a number. Together, they make up the most expensive scam that you voluntarily fund every time you go to the supermarket. Fact number 1. 60% of all the calories consumed by the British come from ultra-processed foods, frozen pizza, chips, ready-made sauces, cheap sausages. 60%. The highest rate in Europe. Fact number 2. These same ultra-processed foods receive government subsidies. In other words, your taxes partially pay for the production of food that makes you sick. Think about that for a second. You pay taxes. The government subsidizes cheap, unhealthy food. You eat it because it's cheap. And then you get sick. Fact number 3. Type 2 diabetes costs the NHS in the UK £17 billion a year. 17 billion. That's almost a tenth of the entire NHS budget. And 90% of type 2 diabetes cases are directly linked to diet. Now the question is, if the government knows this, why does it still subsidize food that causes diabetes? Because treating diabetes is an industry in itself. Insulin, pills, equipment, billions of pounds in profit every year. A sick person is a regular customer. Fact number 4. 5 corporations control 80% of what you see in British supermarkets. 5. They themselves decide what is placed at eye level, what goes on sale, and what is advertised to children. Fresh vegetables and fruits are always in the corner, always without advertising, always without discounts. Chips and sweets are at the checkout at a child's eye level with a 2-for-1.
Today, people are checking every shelf label, comparing brands, putting items back in the trolley and quietly asking themselves whether they can wait until next week. That isn't how life in Britain was supposed to feel. The cost of living has also changed the way people think. Instead of looking forward to payday, many people simply brace themselves for it because they already know where the money is going. Rent or mortgage, council tax, gas, electricity, insurance, broadband and food all seem to have formed an orderly queue outside the bank account. Your wages barely have time to settle in before they're shown the exit. What worries me most is that we've started accepting this as normal. We shrug when another bill goes up. We sigh when another supermarket announces price changes. We joke about needing a second mortgage to buy a weekly shop because, if we didn't laugh, we'd probably cry. Humour has always been one of Britain's greatest survival skills, but it shouldn't become a substitute for asking why ordinary life feels so much harder than it did not all that long ago. Britain has faced difficult economic periods before, and we've always managed to get through them. But there is a growing feeling that the gap between wages and everyday costs has become too wide, leaving many hard-working people running faster every year just to stay in exactly the same place. That's not a recipe for optimism, and it's certainly not the future most parents hoped their children would inherit. Perhaps that's the biggest cost of all. It's not simply that things are more expensive. It's that rising prices gradually steal away the sense that hard work will allow you to get ahead. A country can cope with difficult times, but it also needs people to believe tomorrow will be better than today. Cheerio. And remember, if prices keep climbing at this rate, the only thing left on special offer will be our memories of when we could actually afford the special offers.